اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. Slido for tonight is 1587606. 1587606. 1587606. That's for any questions you may have or comments, feedback that you don't want to say out loud for some reason. What did we speak about so far? Thus far, what have we covered? What is important? Marriage in Islam, building the Muslim home. Share the wisdom that you've learned, if you've learned any. If any was offered. What did we cover so far? Session 1? You want to go session by session? Is that easier? Clearly not. What have we covered? Anything? Shout out a word. Let's do word soup then. It's the lowest I can go. Just word soup. You guys know word soup, right? You just got to say a word. Doesn't have to make sense. We'll figure it out. What have we covered so far? Word soup. All right, see, some people give you more than word soup. So, okay, the 5 pillars should be the bare minimum. Thank you. Anything else? Your own personal Islam comes first. What about it? Subjective versus objective what? So there's certain things that are subjective, there's some that are objective. Objectively speaking, is the 5 pillars. Do you fulfill them on the basic level? Do you pray 5 times a day? That as a bare minimum of deen, is that subjective or objective? It's objective. In fact, according to many scholars, it's the bare minimum of being a Muslim. That the person's own Islam might be in question if they don't pray. Of course, that's a whole fiqh discussion. It's separate, but it's a real one. Meaning it's not something that random people think of. It's a real question of, is this person's Islam fully valid, or is it hanging by a thread or not even there without the prayer? Something like performing Hajj once in a lifetime if you're financially able. That's the bare minimums of being a Muslim. So if someone doesn't have these things and someone else were to reply, well, that's between them and Allah, that's not a religious standard, that is my business, is that statement valid? Do they have any merit whatsoever? Is it like, well, everyone's on their own journey, I'm on my own journey? Does that make any sense? If someone were to say, well, this person's struggling with their 5 daily prayers, they're financially capable, physically fine, they never made Hajj, and it's not on their radar. It's not even something they think of, oh, when I'm 50, when I'm 60, right now, I have the wealth, I'm fully capable, whatever. It's not on the radar. Any responses like this, can they be met with, you know what, this person's struggling, they need their time, and I will look into them as a spouse because that is a personal struggle that I want to help them with. That is a journey I want to go with them on. Is that possible? It's possible. People do it all the time. Is it correct? Objectively, no. It's objectively foolish. It's like somebody saying, hey, get in my ride. We're going to go for a good time. You look at their tire. There's like a Band-Aid on it. You look at their windshield. It's cracked. And you'll be like, hey, man, not everybody has a Lamborghini like Muhammad. Some people got to make their way up from a hoopty and then, struggle through. I will ride with this person because it's about the journey. It's not about the vehicle. The journey is going to end in a ditch, right? With this vehicle. This vehicle is heading down. This vehicle is unsafe to drive. This individual is an incomplete human being. I'm not going to judge them, say they're a horrible person, they're doomed to, I don't know that. They're on their own journey. I'd love to help them. I wouldn't marry them. The answer is just absolutely not. You fix those things and we can talk about, are you even a prospect? They are now at this point not a prospect. They are unviable for marriage. Do these people get married? They do all the time. Do their marriages last all the time? That's not what I'm saying. Is that a marriage you want to be in? I can objectively tell you absolutely not. Thank you, Ahmed. There's not a lot of slides, to be honest. And if the printing works, then everyone will have the sheets that we're going to use for the interactive activity. But the slides are not super important this time, so it's cool. We'll get that TV, guys. Start donating, and we'll get that TV to replace what happened. So, anything else? Anything else that we covered besides everything that we just ranted about? Yes, Giovanni. Is that Giovanni? It is Giovanni. Welcome, Giovanni. How you doing? So the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the primary love pursuit of your life. This isn't gimmicky, this isn't cliche, this isn't try to sound one way or the other. But the primary pursuit of love, when I think of love and my most beloved and what my beloved thinks of me, that first thought is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is the dominating thought of the emotion of love in my heart. Where it goes, what it receives, it's about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And everyone else starts off at 5 or 7. Because the rest of the things are occupied as well. There's the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there's the deen, there's the cause of Islam, and then there's individuals. Because very often the love of these individuals, even if they're righteous people, can lead to a clash with the other categories, true or false? All the time. Do you need to do this now? Come on, we're going here. Just forget it. I'm not telling you no. We'll do it next time. That happens all the time with good people, with bad people. It's just human nature. Because we are al-insanu ibn lahdatihi. The human is the son of the moment. He's bound by what's happening right now, what feels good right now, what hurts right now. And so he will weaken, she will weaken. It's normal. Doesn't mean they're hypocrites or scumbags or should be canceled, but it just does mean that, no, in this situation, I recognize that the love of you, my attachment to you, has just dropped down to number 4 right now. And I can't put you ahead of 1, 2, 3. Allah and His Messenger and this deen. So that can't be overemphasized. That is a struggle. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us your families, your spouses, and your children are going to clash with this directly. He's talking to the Sahaba. He's talking to the Sahaba people whose families were on board. But it's human nature. It's not hypocrisy. It could be weakness of faith, but sometimes it's not even that. It's just simply human nature to falter at times, and you need to recalibrate and understand what is important, what isn't. Anything else? The ideal husband. That was the last session. Who's the ideal husband? Nobody say me. Preempted these guys. I know them. Who is the ideal husband? Okay, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So, what are the characteristics of the ideal husband is what I meant. Strong deen is number 1. His character, his manners, leadership. Anything else? Generosity is definitely there. Very generous, sure. We didn't go over all these characteristics because it would take a lot of time. We spoke some of the main ones. So generosity is definitely there. If he's ideal, it would be there in huge amounts. Samuh, sure, he's forgiving, he's forbearing. Respectful. These are all great qualities, and of course the ideal is going to have them all, as we'll explore today. We mentioned the main ones that Islam emphasizes are deen, manners, which includes a lot of what you guys said, forgiving, respectful. That's all under manners. And then leadership, which includes financial responsibility and the spiritual leadership of the family. These are the main qualities that he should exhibit to the biggest extent. So we said there's some subjectivity, there's some objectivity when it comes to choosing, which is what we're going to talk about today. But when we're talking about the ideal is the best. So that's why we said when we said let's look at examples, we looked at Ibrahim alayhi salam, we looked at the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because this is the ideal that we'll use to do what? Not to choose a husband, but to measure against. Because if you use this ideal to choose a husband, as we'll see today, it's not going to be very productive. We'll explore why. Someone disagreed with me. Two points I want to say before we start with choosing the right husband. Someone disagreed with me last week, which means they're wrong, but they said that when I shared the psychopath stats at the end, where it's 7% of people are psychopaths, so I said that that's 1 in 14, that means over here there must be at least 3. That was a joke, because just because the sample size is a percentage doesn't apply to every sample. I know that. It was a joke, but it was good for him to point out so people don't look at each other like there might be psychos in here. There's only one confirmed psycho, and I'll let you know if you get too close to him. The second point I want to share is that someone asked me, I was using what you said to filter people. I was using what you said to judge prospects or whatever. What was wrong with that? There's several things wrong with that. What's one of the things that's wrong with that? Yes? That's not the problem. That's true, but it's not the problem. No? Yes, Ahmed. We never spoke about finding a spouse. I'm using what you said to filter people. When did I ever say that? When did I say use this to choose a spouse? Have we spoken about choosing a spouse yet? Today is the first day about choosing a husband only. These guys are like, why did I come here? No, you'll still benefit, don't worry. You gotta choose husbands for your sisters, right? You gotta be that husband, that's more importantly. We never went over how to choose a spouse. We didn't get there yet. So if you're using any of this in the process, most likely you can do it wrong. We didn't speak about the process yet. Don't use anything that I've said just yet, except for what I said it. So far we spoke about you mostly, us individuals, for the most of the time. Then we spoke about the ideal characteristics that the husband should have. The ideal male, really, and that every man should strive towards, and the standard. That's all we spoke about thus far. We didn't speak about choosing a husband or how to measure people. We didn't do any of that. So if you do something that we didn't go over just yet and you run with it, then don't text me and say, hey, it's not working. You're wrong for those 6 minutes that I listened to you on live. No, someone listened to more than that. It's not that they listened less, but we didn't speak about that process just yet. So you're using information that we shared that's not just yet for a utility that we didn't share just yet. So how do you fully grasp these things? How do you fully benefit? Follow these steps. Number one is, what's number one? First thing you got to do for this course. Leave your baggage at the door. Whatever your culture taught you, whatever your personal experiences taught you, all of that, leave it at the doors. I'm not addressing that. I don't know what that is. That's your problem. We all have these kind of things, and we traverse through them. That's not Islam's problem. That's not the objective truth's problem. It will clash with a bunch of this. Whose problem is that? It's your problem. It's my problem. It's okay. We all have problems. Everyone's looking at me like, I have problems? Yeah, you do. You do. You have tons of them. Look at you. And then I have problems too. And we all traverse through these problems, sometimes together, sometimes alone, sometimes with smiles, sometimes with tears, sometimes with the material, sometimes with a bunch of other stuff. That's just how it is, right? Welcome to life. Take a number. So that's number one. Leave your baggage at the door. Number two is hear it in its entirety. In its entirety means from the first session we had to the last one. That is what I intend with all of this, for you to use, and hopefully it will be of value. Will it be? I don't know. I hope so. I tried. And if it's not, that's fine. You can just cast it aside and use other stuff. It won't hurt my feelings. But don't run with it in the whatever little bit that you get from it. It has to be in its entirety. Number three is after you hear it in its entirety, make sure you understand it. So if you have anything that's not clear, you need clarifications, you ask. Number four is you troubleshoot it. Some of these things you're going to try, they don't work for you. Not all of them are objective. We already shared that. Some of them are subjective. Some of them will be tailored according to you. So that's fine. You're going to troubleshoot it. Once you do all of that, then you're going to mix it with other things that you learned, because this can't be the only time that you attend such a course or seek out such information. You're going to mix it. You're going to make your own little Frankenstein monster of what this means to you, and you're going to apply it. You're going to make a bunch of mistakes, and you're going to have a fun time. So don't take things and run with them. Take it easy and use them as they are meant to be used in their utility and in their entirety, inshallah. So what we're going to do today is explore 5 categories of traits to help you choose a husband and to help you be that husband. So they will be templates that we will build together. That again, this side will be looking for. Or they may not, come to that template immediately, but they'll build a template that they can start looking for, start building, start working on, and then you could build a template that you can start working towards, because this is what women want and this is what the deen teaches, if we arrive at that, hopefully. We might arrive at a huge circus, super excited, don't know what you guys are going to say. So, is Asala here? Still Asala's here? No? Can you check if the prints are ready, just because that will be necessary? Otherwise, we'll just put them up here, which is going to be tough, because then they're all going to be on this screen here, and that may not work. All right. Let's look at what we're going to do first. So these are the 5 categories. This is all AI generated, so I have no idea what it says here. But all I cared about was the title. Spiritual foundation, emotional maturity, financial responsibility, physical compatibility. Compatibility is just physical traits. And then flaws. Not accepting flaws, just flaws. They're supposed to say habits. Flaws are supposed to come later. So replace flaws with habits for now. So these are the traits. If you can think of any other categories of traits, feel free to suggest them. We'll check them out later for maybe another time. When I put up those traits, you're going to see there's 5 traits for each category for a total of 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 25. That doesn't sound right. It's 30. I don't know why it's 5 here. But if you could think of other significant traits, feel free to suggest them and we'll check them out. But for now, I know these aren't all the traits that people can have. I know that there's a lot more, but this is to give you something to work with. Because most people have nothing to work with. Most people just shoot in the dark. This person religious? Yeah, his mom said so. What's his mom gonna say? I mean, he comes to the masjid, and then they're forced. They feel like Islam forces them to go based on that. They feel like Islam teaches us to gamble. That hey, no, you see somebody is, 1, 2 traits. Khalas, bismillah, step forward and good luck. That's not how it works. You're supposed to have set traits that you're looking for, and depending on how specific you are and how efficient you are and how locked in you are yourself, the better find you will get. So these are the traits that I would suggest to look for, and that our deen suggests to look for, and that research suggests to look for. So the spirituality, the deen, the emotional maturity, financial responsibility, physical traits, and there's 1 or 2 more. The flaws are coming later. We'll talk about that. The other 2, they're not here. We'll see them in a second. I did this for AI Build a Husband. I just wanted to share it with you. Look how ridiculous this is. So it tried. It did a good job. He does look Muslim. That is where my ears are, not where my hands are. Second set of hands are good. I don't have 2 church. I don't know what those are. Mouths. All right. Great stuff. AI tries. You guys are laughing at it now. This is going to be our boss in a year or 2. So it did look like a build a husband kind of thing, so it tried. Pretty amusing. At least I found it so. So when it comes to spiritual qualities, here's the 5 that I'm sharing with you that we will tinker with. So you have prayer, first of the 5. And it's going to go everything's going to go from a scale of 1 to 5. You're going to get these sheets. You don't have to take a picture of them, Zach. They're going to get these sheets, inshallah, they're in front of you. You could if you want. I don't mind. It's not like illegal. But I'm having them printed so you don't have to do this. So if I can, if you can just hand over the sheets to Ahmed, I'll grab them for you because they're not all to be distributed now. There's round 1 and there's round 2. Everybody has a pen, right? Yeah, they do. Look at their faces. No, there's I think there's 10 total. So you can hand 5 on each side. And people are going to make groups. Let's say groups of 4. That sounds right on this side, probably wrong on this side, but you can leave less here. You can do 4 here and then 6 here. And then sisters can make groups of 4 or 5. So, and then some people could also, the brothers, they also have access to this, so they don't really all need one, but as long as everyone can see the traits that we're sharing. Make sure I give you the right ones. I did. These are super thick papers. Could use these to start a fire later. So the qualities that we're looking at, prayer, number 1. What is the scale of 1 to 5? Number 5 says, never misses a single prayer. Salah is an anchoring principle of their life. That's what 5 means. What does 0 mean? Do you mean mo salah? Some people are like that, right? They may not understand that these are 2 different words, salah versus salah. I'm talking about Muslims. Where they said, oh, they're interesting, right? His name is Salah itself. That must mean something. His name's not Salah, it's Salah, right? I've heard Muslims say that. So that's 0. That would get a 0. That would get a 0. That's a joke, obviously, right? Someone could confuse these 2 names or these 2 words because they're written in English, they look similar, and they still pray. So that was a dumb joke, sorry. But what I meant by 0 is that they're really far removed from Salah. They might pray Taraweeh, maybe. They might pray Eid, but they're generally, I tried, Sarab. I really tried. I'm doing my best, man. Quran. When it comes to Quran, number 5 is consistent, daily, comprehensive relationship. Meaning they read, they reflect, they memorize a nice mix of that throughout the week daily. They have a daily relationship with the Quran in whichever way, shape, or form. 0 is they might call a sheikh to read on their new business or their new car. Right? They say, hey, come here and read the Quran. People do that. I'm not making fun of people, by the way. My sarcastic tone is something I just can't help. I'm trying. I'm working on it. But until then, a lot of these exaggerations or these embellishments or these random tangents are real stories. Right? Real stories that I've seen firsthand or experienced. So I don't mean to make fun, but this is what it actually looks like. Relationship with the masjid, number 5 is they attend at least one congregation daily. Especially for a man, that's important. If you're not praying at least one congregational prayer daily, and you have the ability to, that's not a good sign. If you don't have the ability to, that's different. 0 is they attend Jum'ah and occasions. They're going to attend janazas maybe, right? They come in for the occasions. That's 0. Jum'ah might not be a 0 actually, but take Jum'ah off. Occasions and janaza. Maybe putting Jum'ah there wasn't a good idea, because that wouldn't be 0. That'd be like a 1. A 1 is they only come for Jum'ah. This is my rubric. You have your own scale. Activism. Number 5 is they're up to date and involved with the ummah locally and globally. So they're involved. They're trying to give back. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're active every single day, but they are active on a high scale. They know what's going on in the Muslim ummah locally and globally. Number 0 is they're woefully ignorant and unconcerned or indifferent. So it's like, what's going on here? Oh, another conflict? That's still going on over there? You guys are still protesting for that? That's what I would personally give a 0. So this is my personal metric, of course. You can gauge it according to you. 0 to 5 is what matters. Then spiritual growth. Number 5, they learn regularly about their deen, every aspect of the deen that he can. Right? This is for males, so we're talking about the men right now. So he learns from his deen, about his deen all the time. He learns about how to pray. He learns about how to give zakah. He learns about how to do any action that you guys need to do, or anyone has a question. He's learning. He's constantly learning every aspect of the deen. And then 0 is he only attends Jum'ah because it's fard. Even then I would, maybe that's a 1. 0 is 0 learning. What progress does this man make in his deen from year to year, Ramadan to Ramadan? Nothing. Quran learned? 0. Ilm gained? 0. New concepts understood? 0. So I'm not going to go over all that. I just want to show you the scale from 1 to 5. Next is emotional qualities: patience, kindness and care, temper, humor, and courage. These don't really need an explanation, right? Why do I make patience and temper different? Because some people can be patient, but when they get angry, their anger is really bad. And then some people, their anger is not that crazy, but they're not patient. So these are, I think they're different categories for men, and they're self-explanatory. So 0 to 5 is just your own rate of these things, 0 being the lowest, 5 being the highest. Next 2 qualities are financial and physical. What's up with the color change? Is it just here? Is it up there too? No, it's just here. It's my eyes. Financial income makes enough money. What's enough money? 0 to 5 is up to you. 5 is obviously a lot of money. And then what would be just, enough in the middle, I guess, 2, it's up to you. But 0, rate the income that you want, 0 to 5. I might ask some people, what is a 5? Give me some feedback. You can feel free to do it in the Slido. Say 5, $100,000. 5, $1 million. 5, $1 billion. Up to you. Just so you can get an idea and see what people are doing. But 5 would obviously mean that you want a high income. Someone shouldn't say 5 and be like, no, I just want enough for me and my kids. So then that would make everyone confused. If you're going to give a higher number or a really low one, if you're not in the middle, then maybe explain. You're going to be doing this in groups, so explain to each other, and then you're going to share it with everybody, or you'll share it to me and I'll share it with everybody via Slido. Savings. Can make a lot of money but not save it. Generosity is specifically about charity for the sake of Allah, giving to masajid, giving to honorable causes, things like that. Gifts. Spending is about the day-to-day. These are all different categories. This is something super important, that people think finances is one category. Then they're surprised to get a husband that A, makes a ton of money, saves none of it, and doesn't give any charity. And in terms of gifts, gives tons of people, but not his family. And in terms of spending, they eat the lowest of the food pyramid, and then so that's not a hypothetical situation. We're dealing with that situation live, aren't we, Yassine? Yes. It's a financial quality that not everybody has. No, these are just qualities that you are going to... These are good qualities. Saving is a good quality. You're going to rate these qualities from 0 to 5. In groups, because to do individually would be nuts and take a long time. So you'll do that in groups, and then people will present. Either I'll read their notes on Slido if they don't want to talk out loud, or I'll give them the mic, or I'll speak on their behalf. They'll speak to me, I'll speak on their behalf, as weird as that is. And they'll say, okay, this group over here, I might ask them, just give me a couple of the spiritual qualities. They'll say, okay, for prayer consistency, we chose 5. Interesting, why group number A? And they'll say, because prayer, nothing less than 5. I don't believe in any other standard for something like salah. That's the only thing where I have absolute nothing. I'll be okay, interesting. Everyone agree? Oh, everyone agrees. No, they don't. And we'll move on. Does it make sense? So when they come to saving, let's say someone says, well, I chose income 5 and saving 0 because if he makes $1 million a year, we won't really need to save anything. Like, oh, interesting take. Don't agree. I don't think it's right, but who cares? Well, I think this is what we're doing here. Right? Because if you could feel free to follow another opinion, you'll just be wrong. Then we have physical qualities. They don't have any description because they're straightforward. Height, weight, beauty, strength, and hair. That's what I could come up with. I tried. Last is habits and luxury considerations. Habits are eating habits. 0 being bad eating habits and 5 being good eating habits. The best. Cleanliness, excitement and energy, helpfulness, planning, and time management. Okay? So, those are habits. And then lastly is luxury, extra things, miscellaneous, sports, travel, food, clothing, and friends. This scale now, 0 to 5, based on compatibility with you. So 5 doesn't mean a lot of friends and 0 means no friends. 5 means whatever friends they have, whether in number, quality, or quantity, just matches with you. Clothing, same thing with everything. That's what that means, to keep it simple. So people don't say, does this mean they love sports a lot? Does that mean they hate sports? I don't really care for this. You're free to put 0. The scale is from 0 to 5, up to you. In all categories, there's no rules. You are free to choose. Any questions? Can you guys organically get into groups or I'm going to have to do it? You can do it, right? I believe in you. Food is stuff that people eat to gain energy. So everything in this category, from a scale of 0 to 5, is just compatibility with you. 5 being most compatible and 0 being least. Yeah. So now you're building you to get married, you as a spouse. How would you categorize these things? So sisters, can you get into groups of 4 to 5? Because there's a lot of you, and I think there's only like 6 sheets. So, yes. So, no. Food, everything in the luxury category, 0 to 5 is based on compatibility. 0, we're not compatible. The way they dress is not compatible with the way I dress. And then 5 is we match perfectly, we're synergized, and whatever that means to you. Ahmed. Okay. Sal's right there. Let me grab her. So I need to press some more of these.
She had to go somewhere.
Ahmed, sorry, this popped out. I tripped over it. My bad. You have approximately 7 minutes.
Guys rating where we should be at? Or
Yes, the guy, you're creating your own roadmap. How are you as a husband? How do you plan to be? Create yourself. Build yourself as a husband. Instead of choosing, you're not choosing a husband, but you're going to be the husband. Guys, this is a character creation screen. It's like a character creation screen in a game. Create your perfect husband as you would be. Why don't you? Somebody asked, actually, keep that quiet. Thank you for saying that. Keep it quiet. You're ahead of your time, brother. You're ahead of the activity. No, you are. Thank you, Ahmed.
I just want to make sure we're not rating ourselves, right?
No, you're not rating yourself. You're creating
The ideal.
yeah. Okay. Every group that got a sheet. Oh, look how quiet I got. This stuff's powerful. So when you finish deciding on the character that you made, the husband that you made, the build a beard, then what you should do, is write it on the back of the paper that you got. So when you finish, actually, never mind, write it on the paper itself. Write it directly on the paper. I don't want it back, it's okay. So if your prayer is 5, write 5 there. And if your Quran is 4, you're going to write the numbers. So what I'm going to do is pick group by group and ask you some of these numbers. So I'll tell this group over here, what did you guys do with, luxury? They'll say we gave sports 5, food 5, travel 5. We gave everything 5. I'll be like, okay, cool. Next group, that's what we're going to do. Then I'll tell you what we're going to do next. There's a purpose for this, I swear. Yes, sir. Atik. Up your voice. I used to have a teacher that says up your voice instead of higher it. You're not rating yourself. Guys, this is the last time I'm saying it. At this point, guys, if you mess it up, brothers, I'm talking to the brothers, if you mess it up after these instructions, it's just going to be a messed up activity. You are not rating yourself. You are creating you're not creating the ideal husband. You're choosing a spouse. If these were the choices that you had for a husband, which is you, if you could make your own self as a husband, what would you choose? Would you accept yourself as you are now, or would you tweak it out? Anyone who says, no, I accept as I am, then that's horrible. And you should always accept to tweak it out. So I'm telling you, you have the ability to tweak it out now and create the ideal husband as yourself, to strive towards. That's all. You're doing the same activity. Except instead of looking at as I'm looking for a husband, you're looking at it from the angle of I want to be that man. That's all. It's the same activity. You're not rating yourself. You're creating the ideal husband that you choose, that you wish to be. That's it. Jazakallah khair. 4 minutes, 3 minutes. We're stopping at 8:15. Don't overthink it. There's still more to come. This is step 1. Yes? Friends. So 0 is whatever whatever friends you have, whether in quantity or quality, is not compatible with me. 5 is we're perfectly compatible. Either the same, whatever that means to you, it's subjective. Okay, 1 minute. Wrap it up. We have other stuff to do. Okay. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome. So let's go over some columns. Let's go over the spiritual qualities. We have other stuff to do. There's still more. This is just, even if you didn't go over all of it, it's okay. There's more coming. This is just step 1. And this is a process that is not going to be done in 40 minutes in the masjid. It's something you should revisit over and over. So this was a nice taste, a nice intro to the idea of looking at things differently. And then I'd be happy to revisit it another time. But for now, just so we can move on, because there's more that we want to do to complete the idea of what I wanted to share about looking for a husband. So, spiritual qualities. Let's start with this group that's right in front of me. What did you guys give prayer? 5. What did you guys give Quran? 5. What did you guys give the masjid relationship? 5. What did you guys give activism? Okay, sounds like you guys differed. 3 or 4. The average is 3.5, sure. We can take decimals. Spiritual growth, 5. So almost 5s all throughout. And then for activism, they were willing to take a hit of a number or 2. Ruqayya wasn't down with that. Makes sense. Okay? Let's go to this group over there by the lights in terms of your emotional rating. For the emotional qualities that you think a husband should have. Or not should. These aren't, by the way, we did ideal spouse last week, ideal husband. This is not what they should be. This is what you will look for. Everyone knows the difference, right? And then for the guys, it's not the ideal, it's that what I will strive to be. If you have no intention of striving to be a 5 in terms of activism, don't put 5. You put 4. This is what I think that I will be, and this is what she can expect. That's what this side is supposed to do, and then this side is to see what you're going to look for. So for these ladies, they're going to look for 5s in all the spiritual qualities. They want this is what they think is what they should look for. And then for activism, they're willing to take a hit of 1.5. Sisters over there, with Reem, the emotional qualities, please. You could just give the numbers, yeah. Patience, 1.5, 4.5. So I'd be like, okay, very understanding of you. Kindness and care. Can everyone listen, please? 5 for kindness. Wasn't an option. You also skipped temper. Yeah. No, that's what it is. Everything is 0 to 5, 5 being the best, 0 being the worst. So humor is 10 and then temper was 5. Courage? 4. He can back down if the guy's bigger than him. Okay, that's good. It's good that you give him that option. What good would it be if we're both knocked out, right? Somebody has to wake up somebody. So, thank you, ladies. Brothers on this side, can I get Zach's group for the spiritual qualities? Prayer? 5. So this is what you guys will strive to be. Remember, this is what you strive to offer as the husband. Next, Quran. 5. Masjid relationship. 5. Activism. You guys discussing it now? Just say it's okay. There's no penalty, man. 5? 3? Okay, it's okay. 3. Spiritual growth? 5. So 5, 5, 3, 5. Cool. Mu'ayyad's group in terms of emotion, patience. So everything 5. That's what you'll strive to do, is the absolute best in patience, kindness, temper, humor, and courage. Okay, great. Moving on. So we're all looking for the best. I love it. We don't want to shortchange these things. These things are super important. If I wanted to list these categories, the 6 that I gave you, which is the most important according to you guys? Categories, the 6 categories, not just spirit. Okay, what comes next? It says physical, it says emotion. Finance. So everybody differs on what comes second. Does everybody agree that spirit comes first? I mean, feel free not to. That should be wrong. But this one's objective, though. This is not me trolling or being subjective. This is objectively true that deen is the most important quality. Right? This is not something that we choose. And then the emotional one can arguably be number 2 because the Prophet ﷺ highlighted these 2. The emotions all manners. It's not just like they're personal. These are manners that will manifest in how they treat people. So arguably speaking, very easily arguable that category 1 and 2 are objectively the most important in looking at a husband. Followed closely by, now this people might differ. Physical, financial, really depends on the context, and everyone will have their input here. Okay, ladies, this year Ma'ab's group, financial qualities, income. 5. What is a 5, please? Do you guys have a dollar amount on the 5? Yeah. Okay, 100,000 and up. No, this is great. This is great. Guys, if you're not willing, one second. It's okay. You're good. You're not on trial here. I'm going to judge you silently in my head and I won't share it with you. So you're fine. If you're not comfortable sharing things out loud, you have the Slido, number 1. Number 2, I'll invite you to consider why you are not comfortable sharing it out loud. If it's something that is embarrassing or wrong, then maybe that's not a good opinion to have, that you're embarrassed even to share it. That should be an indicator of something's going on. But if you're just a little shy or whatever, then that's what the Slido's for. Don't feel compelled to say something like a number out loud that people might judge you for. You don't know how to look at you. But I think you should share the number. Because that's how people make money. They make money based on a number. And rent is paid based on numbers. And grocery costs numbers. So he needs to make numbers, right? It's not embarrassing. It's not like, oh, what are we being? We're being materialistic about it? Or we're going to eat food? We're going to live in a house? Are you nuts? We have physical needs, right? So they need money. There's no 2 ways about that. And you putting a set amount and then having a set expectation can make it something that is easily understood by all and then negotiated if necessary and move forward with, as opposed to saying, no, we don't want to talk about income. I don't want to judge people. No, I'm going to judge everyone in this category. Every man that comes to your father's household, judge him. And every single woman you look into, judge her. Judge their family. This is the place where you do judge them. Not judge their overall standing in the sight of Allah. No one knows that. Judge everything you see. You're not a good enough Muslim for me. It's not something I choose. I'm not going to go post it online. I didn't accept so-and-so's hand because he wasn't a good enough Muslim for me. But that will be my reasoning, and that is completely fine. That's not judgmental. That's not wrong. That's not haram. They're a worse person than me overall. That's haram. How do you know that? You don't know that. You don't know their final judgment or their overall standing. But from what I've seen, I don't like it. And I wouldn't marry it. And I don't consider it enough for me. There's nothing wrong with that. You should do that. If you don't do that, then what are you doing? Picking tomatoes and carrots in the market? You're choosing a spouse. This is the most important decision of your life, literally. It can change the trajectory of your entire life, deen and dunya. So, income is a 5, and that means 100,000 up. Savings? It's okay. It's all right. Everything's going to be fine. Okay? Does that mean he saves like 20% of his income, 30? Someone in here said 30 to 50% savings. Someone said 5. Someone who makes enough to live reasonably comfortably. Reasonably comfortably, okay. Save 30 to 50% and give in sadaqah and spend on his family. So that to them, that's what a 5 is. So for you, 5 said 100K, what is the saving? Do you have a 100 100%? So they don't spend any money? 20. I heard 100. I said it was 20. Okay. Generosity? 5, but you did what? Sure. Gifts? 3. Spending? Okay. Thank you. Brothers, let's go with that group in the back. Geo's group. Oh, so let's do Geo's group then. Income. So 3, and that's 6 figures plus. Don't tell them that, man. They thought it was a 5. What are you doing to us? Whose side are you on? They thought 5 was 6 figures. Now you're telling them 3 6 figures? I don't care. I'm already married. You're doing these guys dirty, man. Times are tough. Inflation. Okay. Interesting. What do you want to share just a little bit about spending 3? What would that mean? Okay, that's exactly what I was going for. So spending 3, someone might say, well, we don't need to buy organic, right? And to someone else, that might not be spending 3. That might be like, no, I don't buy anything else. But not freezer meal. So freezer meal would be a 0? A 1? That's not bad. I mean, some of them are digestible. These are standards that people will differ in. That's what I'm trying to say. So the number is the starting point. A sister might hear a 3 and think something, and a brother might hear a 5 and think something. It's super important to do this. With your prospective spouses, this is just exploration to show that these things exist, because in my experience, most people don't even know that these conversations or categories exist. So they hit into a brick wall very fast. So this is just introduction to these ideas and these categories. You're going to have very in-depth conversations, hopefully, with other people. Great. The group behind you, Gio, Jazakallah khairan. The group behind you, let's do physical qualities. Height, you can't really rate that right for yourself, but you can't really change it, I mean. Your height is what it is. So let's skip that one. Weight. 4. So 4 would be like what? He's fit. Okay. Beauty. 3. 4 meaning what? How much can you bench? How else would you measure it? How many what? How many push-ups? Sure. Okay, he knows some martial arts. Okay, that's what I wanted to hear. Someone else might say, how much does he bench? And you say, hey, can he hold his own in a fight? These are different perspectives. What do sisters think of when it comes to strength? I'm curious to hear. You can throw in the Slido. Yes? There's nothing here about intelligence. It was kind of spread out over everything. You're right. There's no intelligence here. I guess we're all idiots. No, there's no intelligence here. So I had a limited amount of categories and traits. And but you're right, there's no intelligence here. It's spread out over everything. I'll tell you, it is spread out over everything. These categories were not chosen haphazardly or generated by AI. I made these. I made these categories and I thought they were the most important. A man should be intelligent, but I don't think, in this category where it's where we're choosing our spouse, I should have included it, because it should be there. You know, some people, it has different manifestations, right? In terms of interest, in terms of like what you look into together. But I figured it's going to be spread out over all these things. But you're right, intelligence could be added here, and it would be. Where would you put it? Emotional qualities? I guess it didn't really fit in any of these categories, so I overlooked it. But thank you, brother. I'll consider it for the next time I do this, whenever that is. So, do you guys want to give us the emotional qualities? You did already, didn't you? No, you just gave us the physical ones. Sorry. Hair? 1? It doesn't matter, right? Yeah, that's how you can tell that group is balding. It's all right. We're all in the same boat, bro. It's cool. We're all on our way out. Act accordingly. So, sisters, physical qualities. Let's do this group here. Did I skip something? Did I? Let me know if I make a mistake. I'm just freestyling at this point. Go ahead, sisters. Which is what? 6-0? 4 is 6-0? Okay. She said no. She said 5. She said it's a 4. They rated 4 on height, and that means 6-0. They didn't say what 5 is. It could be 6-1. Nobody needs to defend themselves here. You're free to say 4 to me is a 6-0. He said, what does that mean? That 5 is an NBA player? That's just like, it's just a quip that he's sending out that we're having a great time. It's not about defend it. Why, how dare you? No, it doesn't matter. You're here to say, to throw it out there. You hear what the other side is thinking. You hear what the other side is thinking, and you don't often do that. So that's really the biggest purpose of this. And to trick you for the second part, but I'm getting there. Hopefully we'll have time for it. Next, weight. Which means? Okay. So anything under would be like overweight or underweight, I guess in an unhealthy way. Starting from 3 onwards. 3 down. Okay. Beauty. Okay. Strength. All right. Hair. All right. Doesn't matter, I guess. Sure. You're giving a lot of people hope. That's good. It's good. It's good to know. All right. I can go to Turkey? Thank you. I know. The figurative view. Thank you for the offer. Habits. Let's start with sisters over here, all the way in the back corner. What does that mean? He eats his vegetables. Okay, this was completely subjective. That's why I'm asking. I'm not making fun of it. I just can't help but sound like this. I'm sorry. How about cleanliness? Okay. Excitement, energy. Helpfulness. Planning and time management. Okay, so what does that mean 5 for that? Does that mean like they planned the whole year? Does that mean they planned their whole week, the whole day? Does that mean but 5 is pretty high. Does that mean day to day has to be organized week to week or just these? Because if someone has to organize outings and trips, that's not every day. So they can have a 3, I think, and do that. I'm just going back and forth with you. But feel free to quit back. I'm just exploring the idea. Okay, that's fine. Thank you. Let's get brothers on this side. Any group didn't go yet? Zin, did your group go? Please. Habits, eating. Okay. It's health. That means health. Okay. Eats very well. Cleanliness. Okay, these are the standards that you guys are going to strive towards to offer. That's what you're doing. We're not saying the ideal. We're talking about choosing a husband now. Remember that. Keep going. Okay? Helpfulness and time management. Okay? Yes, sir. No. It's habits like cleanliness, health, zabiha and stuff like that. That'd be under spiritual. It's cool. It's not a weird question. You're the third person to ask it, so it's a common question. You're fine. Whether it was you or on, it's okay. Luxury. Sports. Brothers, any groups didn't go here? This group? You guys in a group? You guys are chilling? Okay. Sports. Sisters group. Go ahead, sister. So what does that mean, 5 or 3? Does that mean that are you into sports and you want them to be in the same sports, or you're not into sports at all and you want them not to be into sports? Okay. Yes. He can get takeout. Doesn't matter. Okay. You're already married. You can be ugly. I agree. Okay. Brothers, just give me some random numbers. Sports. 5 meaning what? That she's cool with you liking sports, that she likes the same sports, that you watch the same sports, what? She comes to watch your games. Okay. See, that it means different things to different people. That's why we're here. Travel. 5 meaning you love to travel. 3 times a year. There you go. So people who have specificities end up doing much better or much worse. Either because they're too specific. But if it's just general specificities, which is an oxymoron, I know, but if they just have specificities without being too crazy, then they actually help people understand. I would like to travel 2 to 3 times a year, right? Some people might say that's nuts, and some people say, okay, that's something I could work around, and it's a specific parameter that he has in mind that he wants to share. Is it negotiable? No, I'm asking him. Is it negotiable, Zach? 2 to 3 times a year? I'm saying, like, if some, let's say they just simply don't want to, is it something that you must have in your marriage? So that's the kind of conversations that people would have to have, and that's why we're doing this. Okay, great. Food, clothing, friends, any numbers? Food? Have to like the same food, like to eat out a lot, is that what it is? Or good cook? 3? I'm asking you, what does that mean? Clothing, friends? I'm sure she'll be ecstatic. I would. Just let me put that out there. Muhammad said something very interesting. He stepped out while he was here earlier. And he said, this seems like the ideal husband. What would stop you from maxing out in each category? When you're looking for this, what would stop you from doing that? It's unrealistic. So you know that already. Yes, Atiq? Lack of time. So if I had enough time, I would find her. Or him, sorry. We're on him now. So if she had enough time, she would find this person. That's the biggest problem if we maxed out 5s. Oh, enough work. Well, she might need 1 billion years. He might need 1 billion years to work up to this, what you guys just described. This activity, I want you to take this paper and you're going to save it. Because you're going to use it to do what? To look for your husband, right? Absolutely not. Everybody fold this paper and do this. This paper is garbage. Everybody rip it in front of me. I'm serious. Rip it. Why am I having you rip it? Sisters, you will never find this man. Brothers, you will never be this man. I've been waiting a whole hour to do this. I put a graphic for it. Sister Asala, can you hand these out, please? Here's the real activity of choosing a husband. Timber. No, these will not be ripped. Give me a couple for the brothers, sorry. I'll fix this in a second. Can I have just like 3 or 4 for the brothers? Just a couple. They don't need, there's not too many. Thank you. No, this is good enough. Jazakallah khair. The man that you just put together to look for or to be does not exist. Is not real. Actually, let me take that back. He may be. You will never find him. I'm pretty sure about that. You'll never be him. By the time it's time to get married. Time is a problem. Atiq is right. Why did I do this to you? Because I'm sadistic. And also, because now we're going to play for real. Now we're going to actually talk about choosing a husband. Everybody get the sheet in front of you. Listen to the rules carefully so I don't have to say them 15 times. What is this, a hat? Huh? Oh, thank you. This is awesome. I'm going to keep this. Thank you. It means the world. Here's the rules. You have 75 points total. All qualities are on a scale of 0 to 5. If you wanted to max out 5 on everything, how much points would you need? No. 150. Took longer than I thought a room of this many people would take. But anyway, who am I to judge? Math is tough. You have 75 points, meaning if you wanted to max out everything, you could only max out half of the qualities that you have on the paper. 0 to 5, listen closely because the rules are up here, but this won't be enough to clarify. So you have 75 points total. All qualities are on a scale of 0 to 5, with 5 being the most preferred, and 0 means total absence of that trait. 0 in salah means they don't pray. 1 means, and then on, and moving on as we said. So 0 to 5, 5 being the most preferred, and 0 being total absence. Habits have been replaced by flaws. And with flaws now, the scale is the opposite. 0 means they absolutely do not have that flaw. And 0 means they have that flaw in the worst way. And you got to add points to remove it. So, let's look at the categories together. All the categories are the same as the previous round. The only difference is you only have 75 points instead of unlimited. When it comes to flaws now, eating. If you give him a 0, means he chews like a horse. Yeah. And if you give him a 5, means he doesn't make any sound while eating. For cleanliness, if you choose 0, he's a borderline hoarder. You're going to have to step around this vase and this treadmill and this garbage and wipe gunk off of this and that. Welcome to your new life. If you choose 5, he's cleaner than you. For energy, if you choose 0, he's an absolute sloth. Very hard to move, very hard to go anywhere to do anything. If you choose 5, let's go with 15 O's. You know those people? He's one of those. Helpfulness, 0, he's only ever adding weight. You got stuff to do, add one more thing when you see his face. Guaranteed, your load will never get lighter anytime he steps in a room. 5 is prophetic service. كان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم في خدمة أهله. He was in the service. When he was asked about how was he at home, right away they said he was in our service. He served us. So that's number 5. When it comes to planning, 0, they're going to be late to their own funeral. They have 0 management, 0 planning skills. They suck. Number 5 is they got the trust fund down. They got the car notes, you name it. They're looking ahead of the future and they're planning for it, as you said, for the family, the vacations, everything. So 0, for flaws, the scales are reversed. That's number 1. Number 4 is you have to put at least 5 points in each category. There's no category that can have less than 5 points in it. Every category has to have at least 5 points in it. So not every trait, every category. And then 5, the last rule is at least one flaw must be a 2 or lower. Remember, 0 is the worst. So there has to be at least one flaw. If you want to choose more than one, that's up to you. I don't know why you do that. Well, actually, I know why you do that, to save the points for another category, to invest it elsewhere. But then you're getting into dangerous territory. If you choose for cleanliness 1, now you have to think of that. So you have to choose at least 5 points in each category, and at least one flaw has to be a 2 or lower. Any questions? Happy hunting. This is what the real pool looks like. Have fun. What? In each category, what? You want to give somebody 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? You can put however many points you want in any trait until you hit 75. So if you choose 15 traits to have 5 each, well, you can't do that because every category has to have at least some. But then you could choose one category all ones to save it for another one, but then you'll just deal with those consequences. All right, Assalamu alaikum. People got places to go, and there's still round 3 and 4. Round 3 and 4 are super short. I'm not going to go through all this again. No one has time for that. So round 3 and 4 are super, super short. Now, of course, when I said you'll never find someone like this, you'll never be someone like that, that was exaggerated on purpose. Relax. It was not personal. It wasn't pointed at anybody. You may find somebody like that. Possible. I don't think it's likely, because with all the 5s and 4s you guys are throwing out there, your expectations are really high. 5 and 4 are the highest of the category. I'm not telling you aim for 0s or 1s, but across the board, across 30 attributes, if your average is a 4 to a 5, that's a problem. You're not going to find that person. You're going to be looking for a long time. You are not that person either. So this is all about being realistic, and the search is different than the ideal, even though they are related. So let's start with spirit. Can I get a hand so we can go faster? Just volunteers. Prayer. Shout out some numbers. I won't go group by group. Adam? 5. Anybody? Who says 5? 4s and 5s. Hands up. It's almost everybody. Okay. So that seems like unanimous that we're not backing down, and I don't think you should. Quran? Anyone say different 4 than 5 or 4? 3.5? Do you want to? Feel free to explain if you want to. It was average of Oka. Okay, that's a good explanation. You said 3, and what does 3 mean? So everyone in that group is a 3 and up, since they chose that? Okay, that's cool. No pressure. Even though I just put you on the spot in front of everybody. Masjid going? 3, we have a 3 over here. Okay, good. Exactly as expected. Analyzing results. Activism? 2, 3, 3, 2, 4. Good stuff. Patience. Growth, my bad. 3, 5, 4. If anybody wants to explain or expound, just please raise your hand or send it to the Slido. Kindness. Yes, Yassine, go ahead. Me neither. It's not getting hated on. Hold up. What did we forget to do, Yassine? Leave the baggage at the door. Activism is not getting hated on. The average person in this room, based on this, even average might be askew in the wrong direction because we didn't take any numbers. Based on the random shout-outs that we heard, it seemed like activism got some lower numbers. What does that prove as a conclusion? Say that we're not in the streets as we should be. Any other conclusions? I'll take it. I'm asking you for your opinion. I love that these are the first 2 responses because they represent 2 sides of the spectrum. They represent the offensive side. We're not out as we should be. We should do more. And they represent the defensive side. You don't know what I'm going through. Both conclusions are wrong because the survey proves nothing. No conclusion. There's no conclusive conclusion that could be formed by what we just did. None. Activism is not getting hated on. People here are not low on their activism. We did not collect enough data to make any conclusion whatsoever, except people went a little lower on activism this time than the first round. That's the only fact that we can extract out of what just happened. Everything else is baggage from me and you that we extrapolated onto the situation and projected, and that's not good to do ever, and especially in marriage. And you will do that like 85% of the time for most people, myself included. It's a battle not to do it anymore. It's a battle to get rid of this fault and this flaw. Your thinking is so sabotaged by your personal trauma, by your background experiences, by the tiny, insignificant, inconclusive sample that you've gotten out of the 4 women or men out of your family, or the 20 in your community, or the 50 out of your ethnicity. Guess what? None of those numbers are significant to form the conclusions that you form. They're enough to shape your experience. I'm not telling you to be a robot and not to react to what happens to you. That's impossible. But you cannot form conclusions on significant samples of the population, let alone 50% of them, a whole gender, or a whole masjid and a whole community, with this haphazard 1-2 pieces of information. That's killing us as an ummah, that's killing us as a community, that's killing us as individuals. Yes, Yasin? Okay, great. Next. That would be a conclusion that's supported by a survey where everyone said, why do we choose activism as lower? They didn't explain, and we didn't go around with people explaining, and now people want to explain. We don't got time for that. So I'd love to hear your explanations, but there's a little bit more that I wanted to do with this, as much fun as I'm having. Unless you guys want to continue it next week, I'm not in any particular rush. I have no life. Yes, Adam. So that's what this group was saying, which is growth will eventually lead to the other categories improving. And that's thinking ahead now. If this person's a 5 in growth, but a 2 in activism, that's not bad. Someone might argue it's better than a 5 in activism and a 1 in growth. Someone might argue, no, it depends on what the activism look like. It's subjective now. It's very hard without having everyone explain what their number means, but we don't have time for that, but we're just introducing the idea because most people are either one-track minds or they've already formed their conclusions. They come in with tons of baggage and they tell their spouse, here, hold this. And that's not right. That's not going to be conducive for a great experience. Yes, Din? Who should, yeah, ideally. But remember, we're not doing the ideal spouse here. We're not doing the ideal husband. We're choosing and assuming that this person will read tons of Quran, but not be an activist, won't be at the protest if you chose a 1 there. Will it change later? What will happen? We're coming to round 3 and 4. That there is opportunities for change. And that's why in the beginning, you don't know what this person will be like in 5 years. You only have them as you see them in front of you. Which is why I told you weeks ago, if you're not satisfied with the religious commitment right now in front of you, then what's the solution? Make dua for them, but don't marry them. But they'll get better. I hope so. And I'm praying for that, and I wish for that. But right now, if they don't match what you're looking for, if some people make these lists, they don't make them in a nice hat like this, but they'll make these lists. It's a boat? Oh, I thought it was a hat, bro. That makes more sense, now that I think of it. It's a really weird looking hat, but thank you. I'm still going to wear it on my head at home. So now I'm just wondering, how did I think it was a hat? But it's okay, so it's not important, Muhammad. So the idea was, what were we talking about? Huh? What? Oh, take them as they are right now, yeah. So when it comes to the list that people make themselves, and they make their non-negotiables, and they say, I can work with a 4 or a 3, but definitely not a 2, and they quantify what these things mean sometime, and then all of a sudden they see some light-up sketches, and all this goes down the drain, and they say, oh, no, but this, but they'll get better, but that, but then, this is the list that you made. Some of it was objective from Deen, and some of it was what you said you wanted and aimed for. Now that's going down the drain because of what? Because you're infatuated, because they're pretty, because of what? It doesn't make any sense. It's not a formula for a happy marriage. So, any other of the categories quickly that we want to hear? Any of the numbers? Let's say, what do we have for patience? Let me get a few other shout outs quickly. Humor. So people start dropping here. Temper. Income. Spending. Louder. Say it louder so I can hear you. Height. What's a 2 now? 5'10"? I love what someone said here in the slider. They said, as long as he's taller than me. They're like, whatever. At that point, they recognize when they don't have points to spend, As long as he's taller than me. When they had points, it was 6-0, right, sisters? Which is okay. This isn't to make fun of you as much as I have fun doing that. This is to show you your own priorities. Which is the least important category in everything we went through? I mean, category, not trait. The least important trait is up to you. What's the least important category? Luxury. So luxury is more important than physical qualities? I'm asking you, I'm not telling you. Some people might say so. Is there any category on this list that should be disregarded when looking at a husband? Is there any category that should be ignored? None? Someone said yes here? Sport? No, not trait, category. Luxury could be ignored, so you don't care. What if he says, I have to go to every World Cup? You'll go with him? You're 9 months pregnant. Next one. What now? Okay, so there you go for somebody. That works. That works for somebody. Not what I expected, but there you go. It works for somebody, which is fine. It's not wrong. I wasn't trying to get you to say no. Sister Medina, I wasn't trying to get you to say no. I'm just saying like I'm trying to challenge the idea, but you said I'll do it anyway. Say it again. Compromisable to you, maybe not somebody else. Someone else might say, hey, you might go to one of them. You go to every 4 years one. Like, we don't got time for that. We got stuff to do, like work, like life, and I don't care for it. Someone says, hey, look, it's once every 4 years. Knock yourself out, whatever. Someone might ask, are we going with you? Are the kids going with you? Every 4 years, whatever configuration our families, are we all going with you? He might say, hey, look, World Cup's kind of my thing now. Now, all of a sudden, you said sports are not important. I don't care, but you didn't know that sports were really important to him. So, a lot of these, the point of this activity, of course, was to show you your priorities. What do you prioritize? And when you're forced not to have your pick, what do you sacrifice? What do you give up? Someone might say, like, of course, everybody would love good physical qualities, good hair, good body, good height. And anyone who says they don't care about this, I don't think they're telling the truth to themselves, and they're going to find out with a rude awakening later when they realize, no, these things are important to them because they're human. Islam doesn't teach us to eliminate lust or eliminate desire or eliminate infatuation, but to channel it in the proper ways. And that doesn't mean that you choose a spouse that's religious and ugly to you. No, they must. The Prophet ﷺ, he told people that you have to be attracted to them. Right? When one Sahabi says, I married someone without seeing her, like I agreed to marry her without seeing her, he says, no, go back and look at her. What if she has like a third eye or something? And all of a sudden you're contracted to this and you're bound by it. If you step away before the wedding night, then you owe half the mahr. It's consequential. And if you step away after the wedding night, now you owe the full mahr. So before you commit to this responsibility, financial and otherwise, make sure that it's something that's going to be compatible to you physically. Is it the most important? Of course not. But it's there, and to ignore it is foolish. So to ignore any of these traits, you could ignore these traits. Someone could say, I really don't care what kind of food they like. But what if they eat like, pickled cockroaches, right? Something that's like, hey, I kind of have to sprinkle this over every meal. Why would I say that? Because that's what came to mind. I'm sorry. Garbage. Round 3. Honeymoon's over. It's now your 6 month to 1 month anniversary. The points are going to change. Keep your configuration. Minus 3 points from the flaws category. You could have 3 flaws go down by 1 point, or 1 flaw go down by 3 points. Up to you how you want to play with it. But 3 flaws got to get worse in 6 months to a year. You also have to minus 1 point from 3 other traits. Just 1 from 3 other traits. This one can't be configured. And then add at least 1 point to weight. Why? Why am I doing this? You went to the gym more? Not 6 months to a year. You're going to go less. And you're going to eat more. Why am I doing this? So expectations change after marriage. That's one thing. 2 is before marriage. Yes, ma'am. So absolutely not. People are not stuck together and they get divorced in this period all the time. I didn't say for weight. I said the weight is not the only thing changing here. All flaws are getting worse. You're going to add minus 3 points from the flaws category, you're going to minus from everything. Everything's going down. 3 points from the flaws category. As you distribute them as you see fit. 3 flaws could go down by 1 point. 1 flaw could go down by 3 points. It's up to you. And then from all the other good traits, 3 other traits, just choose three traits that you choose that are going to go down by 1. And then add 1 point to weight. That was kind of like a joke, but people usually do gain weight in this period because they're eating a lot and moving a lot less. That was a joke though. Why am I doing this though? What's the why? Yes, ma'am, go over here. Okay. No, that'd be horrible. 0 is non-existent or the worst as it is for now to keep it manageable. They go into negative or go into psychopath category, right? Yes, Yassine. No. No, I said after marriage, the weight goes up. It goes down a point because that's how the flaw. Oh, no. It goes, you're going to add 1 point to weight. It goes, oh, sorry. So that should go down 1. You're right. That should go down 1. Instead of add at least 1 point to weight, minus. So we're minusing across. Thank you for that correction. Yes, Adam. The weight one was a joke. It's not the biggest deal. Why do they do that? Are they hypocrites? Everybody tries. Everybody's giving up their resume. It's the chase. I have to prove, animals, they flare their wings and they do a little dance and that's what animals do. Humans, they make their sujood a little bit longer. They say, yes, of course, I go to the masjid. And that's what they do. It doesn't make them hypocrites. It's natural trying to impress the other spouse, trying to achieve the chase. But now the chase is achieved. Now it's done. This isn't the right way of thinking. I'm not saying do this. I'm saying this is human nature. We're going to talk about how to keep that going. That's all stuff that's coming later if we have the time. But this is natural. So when you are infatuated with somebody in the very beginning, a lot of their flaws either disappear completely or they shrink. 6 months in, after day in and day out, now you're with them all the time, now you're going to start notice. You do chew a little bit loud. You always come in and put your jacket here. Would it kill you to put it there? That's where these things kind of start. The bubbles are gone. The sparkle's gone. It's not gone. They're diminished slightly from their over-the-top dopamine, serotonin, boom, flush. Your brain just like levers going here. Then it goes down here a little bit. And with work, it can stay in the middle somewhere. Sometimes it'll hit 0, maybe never 0, but it'll go back. But then with work, it'll stay in the middle. But it's very difficult to keep at full. In fact, it's impossible to keep at full throttle the whole time. And most people just let it diminish to 0 quite fast. That's wrong also. But what I'm trying to say is just it's simply realistic and expected not to be in full throttle in the beginning anymore. After that honeymoon phase, people's flaws become more noticeable. They become more annoying. They might gain some weight. And all the other good traits, they didn't disappear, but they're no longer as flowery because you live with them every day. So they didn't change sometimes. Sometimes they do change, and sometimes they didn't change. They just became routine. It's your spouse. You're going to see them every day, bro. Like, it's going to be there all the time in front of you. Like, it's a lot of these things will become mundane. You won't notice how great you have it. That's normal. So that's why it's realistic to expect it and then to look at the traits. What can you tolerate dipping and what can't you tolerate dipping? You can do that on your own. Round 4 now is turbulence is over. You know when the plane picks up some distance and they tell you now you can take off your seatbelt and walk around? That's because we've achieved an altitude and a speed where it's now, I don't know what it is, I'm assuming. Like they never explain it, right? They just cackle over the radio and say you can turn on your seatbelt. Now, but I assume it's because the plane has taken off. It is now at the point where it's no longer, we're on our course now, right? Before we're ascending, we're getting off the ground. So when that happens, I put 5 years here. Don't look into that. It was just a random number. And now you have journeyed together and you've grown. So you have 5 points that you regain and you could add into categories. You can redistribute 5 points as you see fit. Does it have to be in 5 years? So people are doing the math now. Do you gain 1 point per year? No. Stop with the points now. The experiment is over. It was just to prove that point. And no pun intended. So the idea is as you grow together, there's certain things that become more beautiful, more enjoyable. There's certain flaws now that you know how to work around, that they're no longer as annoying because you know that you're a human being and you have them too. So this is a more realistic outlook than what I've seen almost anybody do. Yes, ma'am. Sure. . if sisters are married such a person, or both sides? I thought my stuff was controversial. Okay. I'd love to hear people's thoughts, yeah. I mean, marrying somebody with disability or a lifelong illness, for example, a chronic illness. That was not on the paper. She's saying, I'd like to hear people's thoughts, and so would I. Maybe it'll need like its own discussion where we have more time, but I'm all ears for if anybody wants to weigh in. Are we done with this? Is there more? So, may Allah guide you to partnership filled with love, respect, and barakah. Ah, thank you, AI. So, it's a robot. It doesn't make dua. It's fake. So, I didn't write that. They did. Your path forward is the same as it's ever been. And it'll always be the same. I'm going to repeat that again when we go to the sisters and we talk about now choosing the right, we're going to do the ideal wife and then choosing the right wife. It's going to be a lot of fun. And this is going to come back again. It's always going to be the same thing. Leave the baggage at the door, reflect on your priorities, continue in your personal development. That's your lifelong mission forever. The spouse comes in and joins that equation, but that doesn't change. How will they fit into that equation? Will they upend it? Well, they're going to be a new variable, that's for sure. But if they upend it, if they ruin the sum, if they ruin the process, that's not what they're here to do. They can be a new variable, they will be, they'll have to be. And you just factor that in, and you do whatever math you have to do to make it work. But it can't change the formula of your life. It cannot mess up the entire equation or make it end up not producing the result that it needs to produce. Because then now you fail. So, I didn't mean to go that far with the math metaphor, it works. Do I have the right to break off an engagement with a girl just because I found someone with better character and stronger religious values? Leave your baggage at the door. You are just asking. I'm going to be honest, sounds very defensive, sounds very offended, sounds very, there's 1,001 reasons where this could be right or wrong. The person's anonymous, good thing he did a good job. He made the right call being anonymous, because we're going to judge him to the ground. It's so easy to judge from the outside, guys. There's 1,001 situations where people can do things that me and you will not find palatable. That is, in their situation, their culture, their context, completely fine. Leave your baggage at the door. There's a lot more that's coming that people are not going to like, and the problem is you. I'm telling you from the start, because I'm never the problem. Do you have the right to break it off? It's your call. You have the right to break off any engagement. It's your call. For a good reason, for a bad reason, it's up to you. If you have the right, yes, you do. The answer is simple. You do have the right. Should you not? It's a bigger discussion. It's going to depend on the specifics of what you're saying here. What does it mean, better character and stronger religious values? Those will have to be explored on both sides. You put them side by side and you make the decision. But do you have the right to break off the engagement? Of course. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's up to you. Engagements are zero commitment in Islam. We're going to get to engagements and nikah. Engagements means one thing. Nobody approached this person. We're currently working on something. What are they to each other legally? Is nothing. What is his responsibilities towards her? Nothing. What's her responsibilities towards him? Nothing. What access do they have to each other that they didn't have before they were engaged? Almost nothing. Very little more than they did as two regular Muslims would have. In Islam, we don't have engagements like any other culture. They're very superficial. They're just a fence around these two people. Leave us alone. Non-consequential, can be broken off by either side for zero reasoning. Obviously, if you do that, people won't like it and it'll look bad. But it's very easy to break off, and people shouldn't make it a big deal. Girls need more money than most guys think. I agree. Guys, you need to understand that. Most guys can live on lower ends. Sisters, you need to understand that. But they don't understand how much this is important to us. That's true. I agree. A lot of guys are overweight and don't even put on any effort. Leave your baggage at the door. Many are bald in their 20s. Shots fired. So overweight, they can change that. What do you want them to do about bald? Like, many guys are bald in their 20s. Whose fault is that? Is it something we can control? Is it reversible? It's like, come on, be nice here. Give them a chance. Why am I saying leave your baggage at the door? Because what are the statistics of these? These are generalities that you're applying across Many. So you didn't say all of them. A lot and then many. So right away in your mind, that's probably going to mean the majority. It's not a good formula for success. Am I projecting here? Probably. We all have baggage, even me. If a girl finds a man fitting for her, let me read these first because sometimes they're loaded. All right. If a girl finds a man fitting for her, how does she go about getting him to approach and talk to her father, or just how does she approach? So of course, it's primarily the ball is in the guy's court primarily, but there are ways that the sister can initiate. We'll talk about that in the courting process just because it's late and I want a hard stop at 9:30. So if you don't mind, we'll leave that. It's in a couple of weeks, inshallah. I apologize. Why do many guys go for looks, then try to change her and regret later and make her life bad? Choose someone with high deen and knowledge from the beginning. Leave your baggage at the door. Guys primarily go for looks and women primarily go for finances. This is statistics. This is not my opinion. This is what statistics say. Can statistics be wrong? They are all the time. This is what people generally say the trend is. You're different. You think differently. You don't think these statistics are accurate? Sure. I'm not, I didn't make this research. I'm not producing it for you. I'm just sharing it with you that they say the general trend is. Could be wrong, could be right. You explore it for yourself. Guys so young are balding or fat. Make less than bare minimum of money. Girls need more money. Thank you. Most men just want a maid or someone who did everything their mom did for them. Yeah, man, sure. Well, what do you guys think? Yeah. It's true. So it depends what career you have, your ability, the strength of your income, your ability to save, the resilience of your job market, the versatility of your job. Choose something that ticks off as many of these boxes as possible, especially if you're still career forming, so that you can be, to the best of your ability, income proofed against whatever. And then whatever is, because it's impossible to be income proofed for good, that's where tawakkul comes in. But you said you didn't choose like a one-track job that only works in one state in your locale that makes $40,000 a year. If you did all that and said, well, what happens if I get laid off? You chose a configuration that is bound to run into trouble. How much of these things can you take off? High income. We'll talk about how much is, we'll break it down mathematically as we've done before in terms of expenses, rent, what things average look like, so people can have a better idea of the numbers. We'll have time to do that hopefully in one of the sessions. So people can know what the day, we did that before a couple of years ago. Of course, inflation has increased since then. And the day-to-day for a man and a woman newly married with basics, I think we came out to a net of $80,000 after taxes. It's a lot of money. It's not easy to do on a single income. 80 or 70, and we'll talk about what does that mean. It means having 2 cars. We told them if you minus a car or 2, of course, that'll go down significantly. But this is what we agreed on once upon a time with a bunch of brothers of what they expect in their day-to-day. So according to the brothers themselves, it came out to 70 or 80 post-taxes. Of course, a lot of them, at the end of that, after they said what they wanted and we did the math, they wanted to revise the things that they wanted. And that's what a lot of people do in marriage. I wanted this. When I get to see what it's going to cost or the effort, now I want to revise it. That's fine because it's being realistic, but it's also not fine because you're compromising on what you wanted already. You're going to take that out on the other person. You're the one who compromised. So, to the person that asked if they have the right to break off an engagement, how did you meet someone else while engaged? I had to ask it that way because it's definitely meant that way. No, we already finished that. We opened that and closed it already. I was making a joke. I don't want someone, that was bait, but sisters took it. I don't want someone, activism, I'm not at all. This has never been a metric. Yeah, so it's for you. That's fine. That's a personal metric. So someone who says, I don't care if there's zero activism, that's your personal metric, that's fine. I don't want a guy against feminism, too many out there. Take note, guys. I don't want an activist at all. Okay, so it's neither it's too much for me. I'm not either nor my family. That's fine. That's your standard. As a girl, what should you actually do to increase your chances of getting married? So we'll talk about the ideal wife and looking for a wife, inshallah, in the next few weeks. Bear with me, sorry for the sake of time. Why are so many men stingy with their wives? I'd say okay, this is answering something else. Marrying huh? No, that was the sheet that we handed out. That was in case it doesn't print. Yeah, thank you though. I'm not gonna bite on these. I'm a little bit smarter than that. I don't want to do his chores. He's an adult. We'll talk about the rights and expectations later. If I'm engaged to a guy and he doesn't pray in the masjid actively when he has time and plays games instead, can I end the engagement? This is going to be, what is the standard to you? Is how realistic is it? What is his level? Does he still pray? What is his attitude towards prayer in general, attending the masjid in general? I think all these things should be looked at as opposed to just this one thing. Sounds very significant in just this one sentence, but does he pray on time? What's his attitude towards prayer? How often does he go to the masjid? If his day-to-day, he may not go for like some of the middle prayers and miss them, is that necessarily a red flag in their deen that they don't go to the masjid? Something to discuss. It's not that simple, I think. I don't think it's that enough to answer just straight off, yeah, end it. He's playing games instead of going to the masjid for a salah. How many times does this happen? Is this like, there's so many different discussions to be had here. A lot of these things are not that simple, so that's why I'm not answering them actually. They're questions of they're simplifying things too easily or too much. What is the standards for the man physically? That's what today was all about. It's up to you. Someone could say, well, they need to have, I've seen somebody, like a lot of these categories, guys, I made these intentionally because these were based on experiences and discussions I've had with many of you throughout the years as I've worked in this field. I've seen somebody who says, I hope he's not watching, he said that his wife doesn't have to be fit. She must work out with him every single day. I work out 7 days a week. She has to be next to me in the same session. I'm going to buy the equipment. I'm going to have the gym at home, whatever. She can't work out later. You guys don't understand this. She can't work out later. They're going to have sessions every day. It's like, dude, I told him, dude, like, do you want her to be fit? No. She has to work out with me every day. So these categories and traits were not created out of fun or just with AI or me trying to be silly. They're things people find. Some people are asking me, why did you make generosity and spending and saving different? Because these are different things. A man can make a ton of money, save none of it, but he's very generous. He could be very generous, so he could save all of it and give you nothing. He's not generous at all. He doesn't give any charity. These are his living standards. He could be generous. He gives to charity. He earns a lot of money. He saves a good chunk. He buys you the lowest quality food. He buys you the freezer junk. So now the spending is low, but then the generosity is there, their income is there, the savings there. Those are good things that are necessary for your stability and your comfort and his role as a man. But then he's feeding you absolute garbage. Tells you, no, this processed cheese is the same thing as real cheese, the same thing as plastic. It all melts. You're like, what the? So that's a problem in money, right? That's a different category altogether. Someone will say, in those categories, people will say, I don't like him because he's cheap. And he'll answer, cheap? I make X amount, I save 50% of it for us in case of emergency, and I give 50,000 a year to the masjid. How am I cheap? And she'll say, we've been eating margarine for 6 months because it was on sale and it's horrible for us, right? So, and then they're just not seeing eye to eye because they're looking at things completely differently. But who has a point here? Who's right, who's wrong? Nobody's right, no one's wrong, but they both have a point. They're just not seeing eye to eye with these specifics. So that's why these are here. So the standards for the men physically is up to you. Which one? There's a lot. I'm looking for the ones that will be, I'm trying to end with just one that would be, oh, you mean a real one? Okay, please. These are real questions too. Sorry, I keep saying that. I meant like one live. Yeah. These are live also. Sorry. Go ahead. So I'm be honest with you, the biggest take of the questions, you have to leave the baggage. So there's a lot of baggage there and assumptions about the cultures that are not necessarily true. Um, you have to always gauge like the conclusions that you make if they actually represent the samples that you think. So in terms of the cultures, there's a lot of difference, but they're not exactly as you stated. I wouldn't say that's accurate. Also, the Quran doesn't encourage marriage of other cultures. It's neither encouraged nor discouraged. It's contextual, meaning it depends on you. Depends on you, your culture, and who you want to marry. Sometimes I tell people, no, you should stay within your culture, and sometimes I tell them, no, your parents or whoever's giving you insight has a point, or they don't have a point. It really depends. It changes from person to person. Generally speaking, the general rule of thumb is staying in the culture is always preferred because it's easier. There's a lot of ease in doing that. So that is the general preference, Islamically speaking, not my opinion. Islamically speaking, it is preferred to do that because it's just more conducive for things working out. Doesn't mean that's haram or there's anything wrong with leaving the culture, but it is the general preference because that's the easiest and the most conducive to success. Then the differences in cultures have to be analyzed contextually because not everybody has the same culture, even if they're within the same ethnicity. It differs from family to family and even from individual to individual. And then these two people's cultures and their families' cultures have to be assessed as they look at each other. These two individuals with their two cultures are compatible or are not compatible. There's no generality in Islam. All Muslims are equal, all cultures are equal, there's no culture superior to the other, sure. That's in the textbook. In real life, people don't act like that, even Muslims. We all believe in that with all our hearts, don't we? No, we don't. We say that. When it comes to marriage, that's where that really shows. If we really believe other cultures are inferior to us or superior, look at them, or the way people scowl at each other, you'll see that in cross-cultural marriages, you'll see that in cross-cultural engagements, and that you'll know that Jahiliyyah is alive and well in a lot of people's hearts and needs a lot of scrubbing. We'll end there because it's 9:30, it's my bedtime. And Jazakumullah khair, everyone. I hope you had a good time. I hope you reflect over your priorities. Develop these lists. This list, don't throw, don't rip. Develop it. Keep it with you and refine it. Don't make it final just yet. Keep working on it. We'll see you inshallah next week. Sallallahu wa barak ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa sahbihi wa sallam. Subhanakallah wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik.